are now with me, Ms. Shira, in the Lakeside Show. Today's news is about Islamic finance. What is Makasih Syariah? Makasih Syariah is underlined as one of the most imperative pillars for enhanced improvement of the financial structure. Syariah recognizes three areas which constitute well-being, namely endorsing benefit to people, educating individual, and establishing justice. There are three categories of Makasih Syariah, which is number 1, Daruriyat, Hajiyat, Tasniyat, and lastly Tasniyat. To have a better explanation about Makasih Syariah, we have contacted Professor Dr. Adibah, Chief Syariah Officer from Islamic Bank, to give further explanation about this. Let's hear it.
Thank you, Shaira. I would like to add on some information. It is important to stress on the realization of Makasih Syariah in the current Islamic finance transactions because why? There's a strong relationship between the objective of Makasih Syariah and the objective of business transaction that requires the preservation of wealth in everyday business transaction. As a result, its objective of Makasih Syariah are neglected, it may result in poverty. Investment can be carried out by individuals, firms, or governments. In Islamic banks, deposit are public money that must be directly toward the public interest. Therefore, it should come to your acknowledgement that the presence of interest, which is riba, is prohibited in Makasih Syariah. It is because it causes unfairness in business transaction. The profit and loss sharing arrangement on the patent of equity are more just than the conventional contract as closest to the Islamic ethos than the predetermined fixed interest rate which is unjust and a taboo. To ensure social justice are enjoyed in the Quran, Islamic banks must strike effective balance between profitability and the social justice. It is crucial importance to Islamic banks to develop financial products that are Sharia compliant without jeopardizing their competitiveness and profitability in the long run. However, how to determine whether a product is a Sharia compliant or otherwise? There's a hadith that mentioned matters are determined by niyah, which is intention. Based on this hadith, the legality of the contract must be established by intention, not merely by its structure alone. Since it is very complicated to unreasonably to decide on the legality of the contract by implication of intention, hukum qad'i and hukum diyani were introduced to reconcile the conflicts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adibah, for the opinion. The next term that we will explore are gratuitous contract. Okay, basically, it is a non-compensatory contract in which a property is donated by one party to another party against no consideration. The donor will transfer the ownership of the property to the donee free of any commitment or obligation. Example of gratuitous that we will learn today are card, hibah, and wakaf. In order to have a better understanding, today we will hear the opinion from the several experts about this topic more further. Firstly, we will listen from Professor Dr. Awatif, Deputy Director of Islamic Affairs Unit in UiTM Puncak Alam. Let's hear it.
Hi Syahira, thank you for your question. Okay, since I'm in the Islamic finance industry for 20 years, in my opinion, card is interest-free loan which is fungible marketable wealth that is extended by a lender to a borrower on the basis of benevolence, which is ihsan or irfaq. Loan or card from Sharia point of view is a non-cumulative contract as it is involved a facilities granted only for the sake of tabarruk, which is donation. Okay, therefore, benevolence loans, or in Arabic, Qard al-Hasan, is a gratuitous loan extended to needy people for specified period of time. At the end of the period, the face value of the loan, which is as al-Qard, to be paid off. In other words, Sharia prohibits the stipulation of an excess of the lender is it amounts to riba whether the excess is expressed in terms of quality or quantity, or whether it is a tangible item or benefit. However, it is permitted that the repayment of card of loan extinguishing is made with an accessible tangible items, benefits, service, or etc. provided that such access is neither expressly stipulated or implicitly prearranged through collusions or tawatur in the contract of the loan. Okay, and then Islamic Sharia doesn't recognize any types of loans other than Qard al-Hasan. Qard al-Hasan is the opposite of qard ribawi. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Awati, for the great explanation about qard. Next, we will hear the opinion from Professor Dr. Nadira, Director of Human Capital Development, Petra Energy Berhad, to share her opinion about hibah. Let's hear it.
Okay, thank you, Shaira. So now let me tell you about hibah. Hibah is a method of possession transfer whereby an asset or any form of wealth is given to another party without any compensation. It is a type of transaction in which one party does not require any compensation for some objects that he presents to the other party. This lack of compensation is a basic feature in this non-communicative transaction. Sharia considers hibah legal and permissible, particularly according to the primary sources of Sharia and Ijma. However, contingencies, for example, making hibah contingent upon any action or facility that renders hibah permissible. For example, hibah is permitted if al-wahib, the gift provider or donor, intends to facilitate injustice or to bribe people in positions for power of authority. Sharia also detests the use of hibah as means to show off or to build reputation for generosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nadira, for sharing the knowledge. Lastly, we will hear the opinion from Professor Dr. Nurul Nabila, the Director of Strategic Communication Center, USIM. Let's hear it.
Hi Shahira, so in my opinion, wakaf as a subject matter is an income-producing property whose usufruct is assigned by the owner in perpetuity to a named group of individuals or the public. And once the property is established as a mortgagement or wakaf, it becomes non-tradable and inalienable property. And it is not lawful to alienate the ownership of the public. In wakaf, such wakaf properties belong to all the Muslims and will continue to be so forever. And the subject of wakaf must belong to the wakif, which is the wakaf dedicated at the time of assigning it as such. The wakif must divest himself of the ownership of the subject of wakaf from the time dedications or assignment takes effect. And wakaf as an act is the permanent dedications of a property by a person professing Muslim faith and of sound mind and for the purpose recognized by Sharia as permissible. The legal incidents attached to a wakaf are irrevocability, inalienability, and perpetuity. And wakaf should not be contingent on an event or transaction and should not be deferred or planned to take place at a future date. And that's all from me. Thank you, Shaira. See you.
Thank you, Dr. Nurul Nabila, for the excellent learning about wakaf. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our show. Don't forget to like and follow our